so I'm going to attempt to lecture on section 2.4. This is, again, the notes from my webpage, so if you print those out, it'll make it easier to go around, follow the lecture. This shouldn't be the longest section, as most of everything in this section is review. And so I just wrote down a few problems from the section. There isn't really any new theory per se, or at least the new theory is minimal, and I can kind of introduce the theory as I'm solving problems. So mostly I'm just going to solve problems from this section as I do this lecture. And on this page, I see problem 10 from section 2.4, and you want to have your book out to do this video because I'm going to call on some problems from the book, and some of the problems are a little bit too long and I didn't type them up. So anyways, this problem just wants me to draw a Venn diagram that has the universal set, and the universal set is the whole rectangle. And then inside the universal set, I'm supposed to draw a set A, a set B, and a set C. And it really doesn't matter exactly where you put these, but I just kind of am working from left to right and down. But you could have your letters switched. Your A could be up where my B is, your B could be where my C is. It doesn't matter. And now I'm going to put each of the states in the spots that they go. I'm going to start with the A set, and the first city I see in the A set is New York. And I also see the city of New York in the B set as well as in the C set. So when I go to put New York in my Venn diagram, it has to be in the area that where the three circles overlap. And when I write this in, I'm going to write NY. So in the very dead center, I write New York because New York is in each of the three circles. So now I'm done with New York. I will cancel it from all of my sets because I don't need to place it again. Now I'll go to New Jersey. So I see New Jersey in the A set. I don't see it in the B set. I see it in the C set, and every state is going to be in the U set. So New Jersey, which I'm going to write as NJ, needs to be in the A circle, but it can't be in any of the overlapping parts of the A circle because it's not in B or C. So I'm going to put New Jersey in the kind of freed up part of the A circle. And I'll cross off New Jersey because I've used it. Next state I see is Pennsylvania. I look through B and C. I don't see Pennsylvania anywhere. So I'm going to put Pennsylvania, which I'm going to write with a P, in the same spot that I put New Jersey. And I'll cross it out, cross it out. So hopefully you can go through and fill out the diagram quicker than I can. But if you can't, that's okay. The next state I'm placing is Massachusetts. I see Massachusetts in the A set, the C set, and every set's in the U set. So the Massachusetts, oh gosh, I think that's, I'm just going to write MA for Massachusetts. I think that's the correct abbreviation. It has to be in the area where the A and the C circle overlap, and that's this region right here. So I'm going to put an MA. Not that that's real readable, but that's Massachusetts right there. I'm going to cross it out, and already crossed it out there. New Hampshire is the last portion of the A set, and I don't see New Hampshire in any other set other than U. So for New Hampshire, I'm going to put it where I put New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And cross it out because I placed it in. So now I'm done with the A set. I'll move on to the B set. The first thing I see in the B set is Delaware. And the only other place I see Delaware is in the U set. So the Delaware, which I'm going to write as a D, needs to be in the portion of the B set that's not overlapping. Connecticut is next. Similarly, Connecticut isn't in any other set other than the universe. So I'm going to write a C for Connecticut, and I'm going to put it in the freed up portion of the B set. Georgia, just like Delaware and Connecticut, is going to be in the freed up section of the B set, where it doesn't overlap other circles. Maryland, which I'm going to write as MD, if that might not be the right abbreviation. And that's also going to go in that freed up region because Maryland is in the universe and it's not in A nor is in C. So I'll put Maryland in the freed up portion of the B set. And finally, I get an overlapping one. Rhode Island is in both the B and the C set as well as the U. So I need to put Rhode Island, which I'm going to write RI, in the overlapping region between the B and the C set, which is this region right here. And I'll cross it out, cross it out, cross it out. So I'm done with the B set. I move on to the C set. The first thing I see in the C set that I haven't placed yet is South Carolina. It isn't in the A or the B set, so it needs to go in the unoverlapping area region of the C set. So I'll cross out my South Carolina. Done with the C set, now I'm going to do the U set. And in the U set, I see Virginia and North Carolina that I haven't placed yet. I'm just going to throw those outside the circles because they're not in any of the A, B, or C sets. And so those just need to be somewhere outside the circles. I could have put it up here if I wanted to. It wouldn't really matter, just as long as it's not in a circle. So that's all the author wants me to do for problem 10 in section 2.4, is just to remember how to fill in Venn diagrams. Number 13 in section 2.4 is exactly the same skill again. Construct a Venn diagram with the sets U, A, B, and C. To do this, you make a big rectangle for U. Inside the rectangle, you make 3 circles, one for the set A, another for the set B, another for the set C. And I'll just do it exactly the same way. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place the pair. So I go to the A set. I see pair. I see it in the A set. I see it in the B set. I see it in the C set and in the universe. So that needs to go in the middle of all these. And not that this is a great, but I'm going to write PR for pair just because my circles aren't that big and my markers are kind of fat. So this PR that I'm writing represents the pair. But if you write small or you can write pair. It'd probably be better. Now I'm going to place grape. I see grape in the A set. I see grape in the C set and in the union. So grape has to be where the A and the C. How about GP for grape? I don't know that that's good. But I'm going to write right here over in the overlapping regions between the A and the C set. So this GP, or grape, is in both the A circle and the C circle simultaneously. Melon is the next thing I need to place. So I see melon in the A set. I don't see melon in the B set. I see melon in the C set and in the universe. Melon is going to go exactly in the same region. I'm just going to write a big M for melon because, again, I didn't really leave myself room to write the words out, and abbreviations are fine. Not that this is hardly readable, but in that very center region, I have a pear in that region, and in this region, I have a grape and a melon. The last part of my A is a carrot. I see a carrot in the A set, but not the B and the C set. So carrot is just going to be in the non-overlapping region of the A set. And I could abbreviate it, but since I have room there, I wrote it out. In the B set, I'm going to start placing the peach. And I see peach in the B set. Don't see it in the C set. I see it in the universe. Peach is going to go in the non-overlapping portion of the B set. Banana is in both the B and the C set, as well as the universe. Banana needs to go in the region where the B and the C circles overlap. Spinach also needs to go in that region. Spinach is in the B and the C set, as well as in the universe. And let's write S-P-I-N. Well, maybe I can figure it out. It goes in the same place as the banana because spinach is in both the A set, or both the B set and the C set. The last thing for my B set is corn, and corn isn't going to go in any of the A or the B circles because it's only in both B and the universe. So I'm going to put it where I put the peach. The last part of C that I need to put in is apple. Apple is in the C set but not the A or the B set, so I'm going to put it in this freed up portion of the C set. So now I've placed all the A's, the B's, and the C sets. The only thing left in the universe is an orange, and that just needs to be somewhere inside the rectangle outside the circles. And that's the best I can do there. I imagine if we looked in the back of the book, because this is an odd problem, the author would have an answer that looks something like this that probably doesn't have the abbreviation that I have. So if I look at the answers in the book, the author has carrot in the free portion of the A circle. In the overlapping portion of all three circles, there's a pear. I see the grape and the melon in the overlapping between A and C, spinach and banana between the B and C, and then the rest of it's all perfectly done, so I didn't make a mistake. These are, in some sense, friendly problems. The next problems all refer to one Venn diagram, and so I'm looking at the problems between 17 and 22 in section 2.4, and the picture that I tried to copy was the picture on the bottom of page 72, and inside the picture it's a Venn diagram with three circles, one circle labeled medical, one education, and one business, and then the author used Roman numerals inside the circles that you may not be familiar with, so I wrote the Roman numerals out as numbers. So in my circles I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as opposed to I, V, 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 I, V, I, V, I. So if you're comfortable with Roman numerals, then that's great. If you're not, then I wrote what they're equivalent to. So you kind of need to read this problem to understand what the pictures giving are describing. And when I read through the problem, basically what this graph is based on, it's based on a bunch of colleges and what kind of schools they have, or what kind of colleges they have within the universities. And to be in region 5, for a college to belong in that region, it would have to have a medical school, an education school, and a business school inside that college. So so to be in region 5, any college that sits in this region, because each one of these regions represents a certain number of colleges or certain colleges, to be in that region, you'd have to have a medical school, an education school, and a business school. As I look through the information that's given, if I look at Harvard, Harvard has a medical school, Harvard has an education school, and Harvard has a business school. So Harvard as a school in this Venn diagram would belong in that section 5. If I look at the next university, Johns Hopkins has a medical school. It doesn't have an education school, so it wouldn't belong in that circle. Let me see if I can find anything else that belongs in that circle. Duke has medical, it doesn't have education. University of Pennsylvania has medical, it has education, and it has business. So another school that's represented by that region 5 is the University of Pennsylvania. If I continue to go on, Washington University in St. Louis has a medical program. It doesn't have a business program, so it doesn't belong in that region. Columbia also has all 3 schools. So in region 5, if I started to write the schools that make up region 5, the schools in region 5 would be Harvard, Columbia, University of Pennsylvania, see if there's any more that belong in that region, just so I can get this done. University of California has a medical school, it has an education school, but it doesn't have it does have a business program. So, oh, this is this is UC San Francisco, and that's different than UC Berkeley. So UC San Francisco has a medical program, but it doesn't have an education or a business program, so it doesn't belong in the center. Yale has a medical program. It doesn't look like it has an education program, so it doesn't belong in the center. Stanford has medical, education, and business, so Stanford would be another school that would belong in Region 5 because it has all three programs. And the only other school I haven't looked at is the University of Michigan, and it has all three as well. So if I was making a Venn diagram and filling it with the schools in Region 5, I would have all those schools because they have all three programs. For something to be in Region 1, it could only have a medical school but not have an education program or a business program. To be in Region 2, you have to have both medical and education because you're in the overlapping of those two circles, but you can't have, but you have no business program. So each of these regions basically describe the kind of programs the school has. So like to be in Region 7, you'd have to have a business program, but you couldn't have a medical program or school, or medical school or an education school. To be in Region 6, you have to have both an education school and a business school, but you can't have a medical school. So the questions that we're asked to answer in this problem, we're not asked to fill in a Venn diagram. We're just asked to understand the Venn diagram and to understand where each school would be placed. So problem 18 says, if I had to place Yale in one of these 8 spots, which of the 8 spots would it be placed in? Well, to figure out which of the 8 spots it would be placed in, I go to my list and I look for Yale. Yale has a medical program or medical school. It doesn't have an education school. It doesn't have a business school. So I have to decide which of the 8 regions, if I was going to fill up this Venn diagram, where I would place Yale. And because Yale only has medical and it doesn't have business or education, I would put Yale in Region 1. If I wanted to place Cal Berkeley in one of these 8 regions, then I'd go and I'd look for Cal Berkeley. In the medical schools, I see Cal San Francisco, which isn't Cal Berkeley. I see Cal Berkeley in the education column and in the business column. So the region of the Venn diagram where I'd put Cal Berkeley is the region that has both education and business but not medical. So for Cal Berkeley, I need to have education and business but not medical, and Cal Berkeley would go in that Region 6 because that's the region that has both education and business but doesn't have medical. And I could write the number 6, or VI as the Roman numeral for 6. And then the last school I need to place is Duke. As I look at my lists, Duke it has a medical college or a medical school because it's in the first column. I don't see Duke having an education program, which seems kind of surprising. I also see Duke having a business program. So I need to place Duke in the region that has medical and business but not education, and that's going to be Region 4. This Region 4 is in the overlapping section between the medical schools and the business schools, and it doesn't have an education school. So I could write 4 as a regular number or IV as a Roman numeral. The next group of problems we're going to do also refers to a Venn diagram that the author gives us, and similarly it just wants us to figure out what region different items would go in without actually filling in and completing a Venn diagram. So same sort of deal here. I have to understand what's given to me, or what the picture represents, before I could answer the questions. So when I looked for problems 23 through 28, in the bottom of page 73, there's a Venn diagram with Roman numerals again. I wrote my Venn diagram and I didn't write Roman numerals. And there are three sets inside the Venn diagram, or three circles. One says overall, the other says transportation, the other says education. If you read through the problem, basically for each of the categories that are given, cities are rated, and for instance, Chicago was rated as having the best transportation system of all the cities that were surveyed. St. Louis has the number 9 transportation system of all the cities that were looked at. Boston had the number 2 education programs, or education for its citizens. And so each one of these columns ranks 10 cities from 1 to 10 based on where they were ranked in this particular survey. And we see Phoenix here, Phoenix Mesa being in the top 10 places overall to live, behind a bunch of other cities. But anyways, we snuck in there somewheres. So what we're supposed to do here is figure out what region each of the cities would go in. When I look at the questions, they just give me a bunch of cities, I'm supposed to answer what region a city goes in. So Pittsburgh, I want to see if it ranks in the top 10 anywhere. So as I go through Pittsburgh, I don't see it in the top 10 overall. I do see it as number 2 in transportation, and I don't see it ranked well in education. So if I was going to place Pittsburgh, it would have to be in the region of the transportation circle that doesn't overlap the overall or the education circle, because Pittsburgh is only in the one column. So if I went to place Pittsburgh, it would go in this region right there, because Pittsburgh is ranked in the top 10 in transportation, which makes it have to be somewhere in the transportation circle, but it's not ranked in any of the other categories, so it's in the freed up portion of the transportation circle. If I look for Houston in these lists, I go through the first column. Houston is number 8 in the overall best places to live, so it needs to be somewhere in the overall circle. And I have to figure out if it goes in an overlapping portion. So I go down the transportation column, I don't see Houston. I go down the education column, I don't see Houston. So Houston is going to go in the non-overlapping portion of the overall circle, and that's this region right there. So if I was going to place Houston as a Roman numeral, I'd write VII. As just a regular number, I'd write 8. And then the last city I need to figure out where it would go if I was making a complete Venn diagram is Chicago. Chicago I don't see in the first column. I do see it ranked well in transportation. I do see it ranked well in Chicago. So Chicago needs to be in the region where the transportation and the education circles overlap, but not inside the overall, because it's not in the overall region. So I'm going to try to find the region on the graph where the transportation and the education circles overlap, but not where the overall circles fit. And that would be this region 6 right there. That region 6, the transportation and the education circles overlap, and they're not in part of the overall circle. So I could write VI, or just the number 6. So that's that problem. Maybe you could do, the odd problems that are right next to it, since you have the picture in front of you. And then I think the last problem we're going to do is really a complete duplicate of 2-3, and the author gives me a Venn diagram. The author wants me to use the Venn diagram to answer questions. I have a hard-ish time answering questions from Venn diagrams, so I'm going to create the sets that are implied by the Venn diagram, and then just use set theory to figure out the answers to each of the questions that I'm going to pose here. So if I want to write down what the sets are, there are 4 sets that are implied in this problem. U is any number in any circle. A is any number inside the A circle. B is any number inside the B circle. And C is any number inside the C circle. If you had your book in front of you, it's probably easier to read than mine. But I see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The numbers that make up the universe in this problem are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So U are the numbers 1 through 12. The numbers that are inside the A circle are, I see 1 and 2, and then I see 3. It's in an overlapping portion of the A circle, but still in the A circle. In the middle of the A circle, I see 4 and 5, and I also see 6. Those are the only numbers that are in the A circle. So to be in the A circle, you could be in an overlapping part of the A circle. To be in the B circle, the numbers I see are 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12. So for the B circle, I'm going to write 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12. And lastly, the C circle, I'm going to write 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And I'm not going to use the Venn diagram anymore to do this problem. I could definitely solve this problem using Venn diagrams. And in some instances, it'll be easier to solve with Venn diagrams, but not always. So let me write this on a bigger sheet of paper now. So in this problem, the universe are the numbers 1 through 12. The set A is the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The set B is the set 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12. And the set C is the set 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. As I glance at the problems, I see some primes. I might need to know what each of the primes are, and I'm not sure, but I'm just going to quickly write the primes of each. A prime is any number between 1 and 12 that's not in A, so it's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I may not need this prime, but it's easy for me to get primes, so I'm just going to put them down, or complements. I'll just put them down quickly. B prime is any number between 1 and 12 that's not in B. So 1 and 2, 6, 10, and 11. And again, I might not need that, but since it's not hard for me to get, so I'm putting them down. And C prime is going to have 1, 2, 3, 9, 11, and 12. So now I'm ready to answer the questions. I'll kind of just do them one at a time. So I have the sets that I'm worried about in front of me. And, well, 2 of them I'm already done with. The ones that only ask for one set, I was able to just sneak out with without really any thought. 48, the author asked me to find U, and U is just the set 1, 2, 3. I would be lazy. 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 11, 12. You can write all the numbers between 1 and 12, but something so I could tell U as the numbers from 1 to 12 would be fine. That's any number that's in any circle. 50 asks me to write set C. That's any number in the C circle, and I have C written right above me, so I'm just going to copy it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So those are the friendly ones. The rest of the problems I'm going to do, 52, 53, 56, 57, and 60, all require a little more effort than that because they're intersecting or unioning multiple sets. So when I go to do problem 52, 52 wants me to find A intersection C. Oops. Hi. So A is the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. and C is the set 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And to intersection two sets, I'm going to find what those two sets have in common. So I wrote down the contents of A and the contents of C. And now, because I'm intersecting, I'm going to find out what the two sets have in common. I see that both sets have 4, both sets have 5, and both sets have 6. So the intersection of A and C would be the numbers 4, 5, and 6 because that's what they have in common. And when I go to write my answer, I'm going to write my answer. I don't need to write the problem next to the answer, but it can't hurt. Because the problem is intersecting sets, my answer should be a set. I'm going to make the squiggly set braces, and inside the set braces, I'll write what the sets have in common, and what they have in common are the numbers 4, 5, and 6. And that's all there is to do for that. So intersection is probably the friendliest of the set operations that we do because it's just finding out what they have in common, and that's probably the quickest and easiest. The next problem is a bit harder because it has a parentheses, and the parentheses makes it so I'm going to take 2 steps to get to the answer. Problem 53, the author wants us to find B intersection C and then find the complement of that. So what I'm going to do is work the inside of the parentheses. I'm going to take the B set, which is 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12, intersect that with the C set, and that will allow me to make the 2 sets in the parentheses down to 1 set. And then I'll worry about the outside of the parentheses. So the inside of the parentheses, which I always do first in orders of operations, wants me to take the 2 sets inside and find their intersection. So the intersection of the B and the C set are what the B and the C set have in common. They both have 4, they both have 5, they both have 7, and they both have 8. So the parentheses part of 53 asks me to find the intersection of B and C. The intersection of B and C would be the set that contains the elements 4, 5, 7, and 8. If I stopped there, I wouldn't be done, and I wouldn't have the correct answer because I haven't dealt with the complement yet. So now that I have the insides of the parentheses broken down to a single set, then I can take its complement. When I do the complement of any set, that's going to be anything that's in the universe that's not part of that set. The universe are the numbers 1 through 12. The answer to this problem, I'll drop the parentheses when I write the answer, is going to be any number inside the universe other than 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8. So because the universe has the numbers 1 through 12, the complement of this set is going to be any number that's in the universe that's not in this set. So if I write down the universe and I cross out this set, 4, 5, 7, and 8, the items that I don't cross out are the complement. And what I haven't crossed out are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that's going to be the answer to this problem. So B intersection C complement is going to be the set that has the numbers 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so next thing I wanted to do is 56, and 56 doesn't have a complement, it doesn't have a parentheses, so that makes it a kind of a one-step problem. It is a union problem, and union problems I think are just generally harder than intersection problems. But to do B union C, I'm going to write down what each set is. B is the set 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, and 12. C is the set 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And to union two sets, you're just going to write any element that's in one set or the other set or both. So I'm going to start off to do B union C. I'm going to write all of B, which is 3, 4, 5, 7. I'm going to do some room here. 7, 8, 9, and 12. So that's what I've put into my answer now for B union C is the entire B set. And now I'm going to add anything to it that I haven't already included that's in the C set. So if I look at the C set, I've already placed the 4. I don't need to place it again in the union. I've already placed the 5. I don't need to place it again in the union. But I haven't placed the 6. So I'm going to put the 6 into the answer because it's part of the union because it's in the C set. I've placed the 7 and 8, so I don't need to place them again, but I haven't placed the 10, so I'm going to put the 10 in the region in my answer. So the union of two sets is any element that's in the left set, the right set, or in both sets. And I really didn't have to take my answer and write it so nicely ascending. If you would have written this for an answer, the union is 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12, which is the entire B set, and then add the things from the C set that you didn't include yet, which is going to be 6 and 10. This would be a completely acceptable answer. Just so to say B union C is either one of these sets would be fine. Just as long as you have these elements, the order that you write the elements in wouldn't make your answer different, because when we use set notation, the order isn't the deal breaker. It's just whatever the elements themselves are the deal breakers. So 57 is a cumbersome problem because it has a parentheses and it has a complement. So I'm going to have to do this in multiple steps. So when I go to do 57, the first thing I'm going to do is find the union of two sets, and then I'm going to do the complement. So 57 asks me to do A union C complement. To do A union C, I write the A set, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Union the C set, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So I'm going to union those two sets down to a single set, and then I'll worry about the complement in the parentheses. So I'm going to start off, and the two sets inside the parentheses, I'm going to combine to one set. And because I'm unioning, I'm going to write any of the numbers that's in the A set, the C set, or in both. So I wrote down the entire A set, and then I'm going to add anything that the C set has that I really haven't included yet. And the C set has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. In my answer, I already have the entire A set, so I already have the 4, 5, and 6, so I don't need to write those again. When I do the union of those two sets, I get the entire A set and the rest of C set that I haven't put in. So the union of those two sets are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. And now I'm going to do the complement. To do the complement of any set, I write down the universe, or I think of the universe. And I cross out anything in the set that I'm working with, and that will leave me the complement. So the set that I'm complementing has the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So if I cross those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 out of the universe, what's left uncrossed is the complement. And that's going to be the answer to this problem. The things that are left are going to be 9, 11, and 12. So the answer to this problem is the set containing the numbers 9, 11, and 12. It would be nice if I wrote the problem next to the answer, but just having the answer itself is fine. I'm certain, because this is an odd problem, if I looked in the back of the book for the answer to 57, that the author would just write 9, 11, and 12, and he wouldn't take the time to write the answer with the problem next to it. Let me just make sure that that's the case here, just so you can see. So anytime you do a homework question, if you're working on an odd problem, then the author's going to have answers, and the answers are all buried in the back of the book somewhere. So this is section 2.4, number 57, and I don't know how well that shows up, but the answer for 57 and 2.4, I was in the back of the book. I see 9, 11, and 12. I don't see the problem next to the answer, so that's perfectly Perfect. For that matter, I did problem 53, and when I did problem 53, I wrote 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And when I look here for 53, I see 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it's always a good idea when you do your homework problems to check your answers, because that way you can make sure that you're right. Then if you're not right, then you can ask me to figure out, what went wrong. So that's everything that's in this section. So hopefully that didn't feel so bad. And we just have one section and then a review before the test. So hopefully this is going well. This is one of the harder chapters that we do. And then we'll get into some easier chapters quickly. All right, that's got to be enough for now.